Get uplifted, rooted and established with the Word. AM 590 WEZE Boston.
Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. Everybody get exposed. Pray for all my foes.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Amazing Grace on WEZE. The AGSN on WEZE AM 590. It's Saturday. It's 9 o'clock. So it must mean that it's time for us to get started. I'm going to open up with a prayer. As you can see, I'm rolling solo today. So let's just get down to business. Dear Lord Jesus, help us to work our way through all of our differences. Help us to see that we are all one race, all one people in Christianity, and that everyone's problems are the same problems. They don't differentiate as we go between different communities and different people. All of us are afflicted with sins, the 7 deadly sins: envy, gluttony, greed, sloth, lust, anger, which is resentment, and pride, which is judgment. We are all caught up in this, the whole human race. And we need to sit down and address this and get ourselves together to eliminate these 7 deadly sins out of our life and to come together as one. I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. I should have put the echo button on, like amen, 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 amen. That's what I'm used to. Used to a bunch of amens here, but it's only me. So I'm just going to have to do. I think we can start off with today in history. Are we ready? Today in history. Yes, sir. Today in history. On this day, in September 28th, 1919, the fastest major league game was played in the history of Major League Baseball. That's right. It only took 51 minutes for the Giants to beat the Phillies 6-1. And I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they got that in 51 minutes back in 1919. Somebody had to get somewhere quickly. Somebody had to go somewhere, like to a party or catch a train. And they say, listen, we both agree. Let's just get out of here. And it appears that's what they did. That takes care of that. On this day, today in history, on September 28th in 1951, New York's Allie Reynolds pitched his second no-hitter of 1951. That's right. He pitched another one, but we won't go into that one. It was an 8-0 home victory over, well, you guessed it, the Boston Red Sox to clinch the Yankees' 18th pennant back in 1951. My gosh, the Yankees, the evil empire, back when they were ruling the world in Major League Baseball. Speaking of no-hitters, on this day, today in history, on September 28th in 1975, on the last day of the 1975 Major League Baseball season, the Oakland Athletics employed 4 pitchers to win a game. Yes. Vida Blue, Glenn Abbott, Paul Lindblad, and Raleigh Fingers. I believe we have a picture of Vida Blue. Yeah, there he is. Looks like 1969 when he's a raw rookie. That's when he came up in 69. Look at those uniforms. Oh, you guys can't see it on the radio. Well, it's got a nice yellow and green, if you can imagine yellow and green being mixed together. Yeah, that's how it looks. Vida Blue pitched the first 5 innings. Glenn Abbott pitched the 6th inning and the 7th. Paul Lindblad pitched the 8th inning, and the closer, Raleigh Fingers, finished pitching the 9th inning. And there you go. A combined no-hitter. I don't know if that's ever been done again. I don't know if it was ever done before. Was it done?
It has been several times, yeah.
Gosh, and I thought that was important. Well, moving right along. On this day, September 28th, in 1979, Larry Holmes proved his championship medal and his recuperative powers. Larry Holmes got off the canvas after being dazed and confused by Ernie Shaver's right hand. I believe that was in the 8th inning. I could be wrong. I'm 8th round, not in it. But anyway, Holmes, Ernie Shavers, hit the guy so hard. And I hate to admit this, it shows my age. Back in 1978, I actually watched this fight, and there was no way that this guy should have got up. Forget about last round. He cracked him so hard, and Larry Holmes got up, and he had no idea where he was, and he still was able to last the round, which was beyond anybody's expectations. He grabbed, he clutched, he felt, everything he could do, and he lasted around. And I'm sure Shavers thought he was going to get him the next round, but he didn't. Larry Holmes recuperated and closed him out in the 11th round with the TKO, and that was that. He retained his heavyweight championship, defending it for the 4th time against the heavy-hitting Ernie Shavers. And there you go. Today in history. That's what we got. Moving on. What we do have is, let's talk about those Dallas Cowboys winning a game. Yes, Dallas won. They beat the New York Giants on Thursday night. But was it so much the Giants or was it Dallas? Dallas had, I don't know how many penalties. There were 12 penalties called in the first half. Dallas was called for 9 infractions in total and lost 70 yards. They are a totally. Do they have the highest payroll? I think they have the highest payroll in football, and they can't eliminate miscues. How is that? How can they be so bad? Or does paying people X amount of money actually increase the amount of miscues they make? As Marvin Hagler once said, it's hard to get up at 3 a.m. and run 20 miles when you're going to bed sleeping in silk pajamas. What that means is that they pay these guys so much money. What is their incentive for playing football? Really, they have no possibility they're ever going to go broke. They don't have to take care of themselves. They can do whatever they want. And next week, they're going to get paid again. CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott have guaranteed contracts. And I don't know how many on the team has guaranteed contracts, but they're the leaders of the team. And if they're not taking this seriously, nobody else on the team is taking it seriously. They're sleeping in silk pajamas at night. They're having a latte ready for them in the morning. They probably have a cooking chef, a living chef, somebody who cooks their dinner, somebody who picks them up and drives them to the game. It's the recipe for disaster. And the more and more that Bill Belichick is in the rearview mirror of the New England Patriots, the more and more I realize what he did to make that team great. Keeping them on an even keel, not trying to have a superstar on the team, making sure that they all work together and that nobody's getting paid an astronomical amount over the other person so that they are all in the pit together, working, pushing, grunting, fighting, trying to win. Something that's missing in the National Football League these days because we have, is it 50 million a year guys? If not, the only one who's taken this 50 million and hasn't become a total airhead is Patrick Mahomes. We have Joe Burrows, loser. He's a loser now that he's got his 50 million. Lamar Jackson, another one. If I win, I win. If I don't, well, hey, no big deal. Dak Prescott, got to have my 50 million. I'm being underpaid. I'm not appreciated. Not that you won anything before you got your 50 million, because you didn't win anything. You lost. And Cowboys haven't won a Lombardi trophy since 1990s. It's been 30 years. The Ravens haven't won anything since Ray Lewis left. What's that? It's going on 20 years. And the Cincinnati, they have never won anything. And they gave them money. So the way I'm looking at it, paying these guys money does not equal a championship. if we look at it that way, the best teams that are looking at a championship that's not Kansas City, it's probably San Francisco with Brock Purdy, keeping him accountable with the rest of the team plays. As a matter of fact, there are players on that team that make more money than Brock Purdy, which means they all have to grind. Purdy is one of the crew. He's one of the guys. He can get in there and rock just like them. He can take the bumps and the bruises. They're all in it together. And that's something that's not going to happen with Dallas. I don't know how much Daniel Jones is making. I'm not going to say it's too much. I'm not going to say any of these guys are making too much money. What I am going to say is they're making too much money to be competitive. Making all that money appears to make them less competitive. It's hard to get up at 3 a.m. and run 20 miles when you're going to bed in silk pajamas. And that's as much as I'm going to say on Dallas and the New York game. Let's move on to the Patriots. The New England Patriots are going to play the San Francisco 49ers this week. And I don't think anybody's picking the Patriots. I'm not too sure the odds. I'm not too sure of the odds on the game. I have a feeling they're out of control.
Favored by 10, San Francisco is.
Favored by 10. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
And by the way, that's without Christian McCaffrey, too.
That's without Christian McCaffrey.
And possibly George Kittle.
And possibly Brandon Ayuk. So 3 of their major players are gone, and they're still going to be favored by 10.
And they got blown out in Minnesota last week.
But that's not going to happen here. but anyway, there's going to be clamoring for Drake May to be inserted into the game after this next loss. We have to be ready for that. We have to understand that. Jacoby Brissett is not the quarterback that people are clamoring to see. We can see that now. And I wanted to ask everybody out there, those who want to see Drake May, please just hold off a couple of more weeks. Give this time. Don't rush the kid yet. Let Jacoby Brissett get in there and do what he's supposed to do, which is lose. And we understand that, and we can accept that. Now, let's move on to it. Wayne, give me something. What we got?
Good morning. I'm rolling with the Patriots. This is a get-right game for us here, man. Don't throw in the towel just yet.
You think this is a what do they call these games? When other teams not expecting anything?
A trap game.
A trap game.
No, but yeah, this is a get-right game for our situation here, and I like our odds. I like our position.
And that is the position of the underdog, is what you're saying.
That is correct. And, no one's expecting anything from us. And if you hear these guys talk on the radio when they do the interviews, they have a lot of pride in them. So I'm still rolling with them. And how about my Boston College Eagles?
Okay. Well, I would talk about the Eagles, except I can't get a ticket to the games. They're all sold out.
I know it's impossible. It's really hard. And I'm going to keep working on it. Don't give up on me just yet, all right?
Okay. What number are the Eagles ranked at now? What do we got them at? Where are they in the poll?
I think they're unranked. When they lost to Missouri, they were 24th at
right.
But maybe they should be ranking soon. And after today's game, they may get back up into the top 20s again.
I think they'll be back. I mean, they have Western Kentucky this afternoon, and then they start to play some of their ACC opponents, back-to-back Virginia and Virginia Tech.
And Thomas is hurt, so we're starting to.
Okay, what do we got? They're not ranked. They're 3-1, playing. Now they're playing Virginia Tech. No, that's next
Western
week.
Kentucky.
Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, who are also 3-1. You know, college football is not that great up here, and it hasn't been since Boston College has been on the demise for the past. I can't remember. Wow, that's exciting. Now we have other. That's not me. See, I didn't do that. I pressed the button, but that's not me. I didn't hit that button for the ring there. Okay.
There are a lot of gremlins in the studio today.
Okay. Thank you very much. We have to clear that up. Let the audience know it wasn't me. Back to Boston College. Boston College. What do I think? College football is not that great up here. There was a time, Boston College used to face off with Notre Dame. There was a time Notre Dame was a great football college, but they have gone down. Boston College has gone down. Right now we have, it's hard to tell. There was a time when, right now it looks like it's Michigan and Ohio State again leading the polls most of the time. And those two teams, and then Alabama. So between Alabama, Michigan, and Ohio State, those are the college programs that are grinding everybody down into the dust. And
Texas too.
Texas,
they're the number one team in the country right now.
Right now, but last year before.
Well, they've had some tough years, but it's always been a storied program.
Yeah. So is in Kansas, but then in Nebraska.
Yeah.
But Boston College, not so much. Not since Doug Flutie left.
Yeah, Matt Ryan too.
Ryan
for a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough. It's been tough for them. And speaking of tough, we're back on the New England Patriots. Wayne says, okay, listen, don't give up on them. This is a trap game that they have the San Francisco 49ers right where they want them. I would say to anybody out there, don't bet the house. Don't bet the house because you're not coming to live with me. Okay? I would just, hands off, don't take the 10 points. I think they're getting 10. San Francisco's taking the 10 points, getting 10 points. Don't take the 10 points because if things go bad, they might really go bad. And this might be a pity. They're going out to San Francisco to play. I mean, they're not even playing in Foxborough. So there's no home crowd. So if things go bad, they could really go bad, which I expect them to. I expect the Patriots to end up getting trounced. Not that I want them to, but that's what I think. The Patriots have 18 players on the injured list. 18 players. That's not good. I'm wondering why Jacoby Brissett is not. He's probably on the injured list, but scheduled to play. But
and remember, Clay, San Francisco has lost 2 games in a row. They lost last week to the Rams in a game they should have won, and then they got pretty beat up. I know it was
by the Vikings.
By the Vikings a week before.
Right
now they're 1-2, sitting in division where you have Seattle right now 3-0.
Right.
The Rams are always going to hang in there, and the Cardinals, despite the fact at being 1-2. Have played 3 really good games.
Should have won last week.
Exactly
against
right.
Detroit.
Against the Lions, who have not started the year so hot. But anyway, this San Francisco 49ers team, expect them to play with a vengeance because they don't want to be sitting at 1-3 with the talent they have in that division.
Right. They're going to come out hungry for bear. They're going to come out. They're going to come out hungry. And guess who's in the way? The New England Patriots. So, Patriots fans, of course, and I was not loyal. I took the Jets on Thursday night, and rightfully so. And it's not about loyalty. It's about being honest. Being honest. Okay, let's just go with that. If we're honest, the Patriots are not supposed to win this season. Jacoby Brissett's not in there to win. I know this aggravates a lot of Patriots fans. Somehow they thought, I don't know who told them this, that Jacoby Brissett was going to be a quarterback that was going to, win games. Okay. No, he's not here to win games. Jacoby Brissett is here to lose games. I'm not too sure how many he's here to lose. He's here to win some, but he's not here to be a threat to the next guy who they were going to pick, which was Drake May. He's not here to stand in Drake May's way. He's here to be the bridge this season so that Drake May can come in next season and win. And despite what anyone's telling you in the front office, I think they blew it anyway, the whole way that they approached it. He's not here to win. So as far as him being adequate enough to win a couple of games, 4, maybe 5, I think they won 4 last year. Maybe they'll get 5 this year. Maybe 5 or 6. That's going to be your total. And don't get upset at Jacoby Brissett for being something that he's not. Okay? There's a reason why he was on the market and he could be picked up at a fairly cheap price, which he was. And that was because he is not that good of a quarterback as a starter. Maybe coming in, maybe filling in for somebody. But as far as starting and leading the team into the playoffs, no, that's not Jacoby Brissett. So you have to bear with him. You're going to have to take what he shows you. You're going to have to grit your teeth and bear it and understand this is what he's here for. He's here to be the bridge between Drake May and, this season. So he's here to last out this season. Okay, so that pretty much leads into what I'm saying. Drake May should not play. Now, I'm not a Drake May fan. I think that he's a good and adequate quarterback. But what bothers me is when they bring these quarterbacks in and they put them in a succession to, be the heir. Now, everyone else is sitting back and watching this. There's not a wide receiver. There's not a linebacker. There's not a lineman that gets to sit back for a whole year, okay, and watch the action. No, they're going to get thrown in there. They're going to have to compete for the job. And so what we have is we have a built-in animosity that's going to be there if Drake May does not come out and hit the ground running next year. So he better learn everything he can before next season, because everyone else is out there playing, fighting for the jobs, and he doesn't have to. He's been anointed as the heir, the next guy, which is why picking a guy so high can be kind of tough, putting him in that position. There has to be some quarterback competition, and he's not going to have that. He's not going to have the quarterback competition. So if he doesn't come out running, and they still got that guy Joe Milton hanging around, there's going to be a big problem on that team about who should be playing. And I think they put him in a bad position. To go along with that, I think Elliott Wolf has proven to be incompetent in his first year of dealing with this. If Joe Milton is still here next year, it's going to be a problem, okay, with Drake May being the starting quarterback, because if he doesn't hit the ground running, there's going to be Joe Milton looking over his shoulder. The same way with RG3 and Kirk Cousins. They drafted both of those guys in the same year. And RG3 was good, but Kirk Cousins was also good. And when RG3 got hurt and Kirk Cousins got his chance to get in there, it became a war on the team about who should be the quarterback. And you don't need that. You don't need that aggravation if you're trying to build a team, which is why I think Elliott Wolf has blown this and is still blowing it as long as Joe Milton is on this team and if he's here next year. If right now, they should go out and get Bailey Zappi, because Jacoby Brissett is not going to last a year. He's going to get hurt. So when he gets hurt, you don't want to throw Drake May in there yet. He's not ready for it. So they need another backup quarterback. If they put in Drake May, if Jacoby Brissett goes out injured tomorrow and they have to put Drake May in there, it's going to be a disaster. Does anybody? So as we go back in time, and all the times that sorry, Bill Belichick, I said you didn't know what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were doing, more so than most of the GMs. You didn't overpay. Not that we wanted you to overpay for Tom Brady, but we wanted you to pay him a decent salary, but you wouldn't do that. That have a little bone to pick about that, but you didn't overpay for talent for the most part. Not until your last season when you let Tom Brady walk out the door, more or less forced him out the door for Cam Newton. You realized that big mistake. Then you started overpaying, and you ended up with Matthew Judon and a couple of other people that you corrected the next year. whatever money you gave them. Next year, you made them take a pay cut. So you corrected it quite quickly. But not overpaying for talent, getting everybody on board on the same thing, having your quarterback involved in the play, okay, and also having a backup quarterback. What was his name? Brian Hoyer? Yeah, he was Tom Brady's backup quarterback for like 10 to 15 years. Never a threat. Never a threat. Always there to come in just in case Tom got hurt and they needed him. And the problem happened when they let Brian Hoyer go and they brought in a young kid named Jimmy Garoppolo. That's right. And Tom got suspended. And when he came back, Jimmy Garoppolo was there and didn't want to leave. So you have this problem, this dynamic that you don't want to happen if you got this kid named Joe Milton, who is also a stud on your team. Similarly, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a problem. They got a guy standing on the sidelines, behaving as if he's going to get in the game. Russell Wilson, not holding the clipboard, not behaving as if he's hurt. You got the starting quarterback out there running the team, and you got a guy standing on the sidelines who's not being part of the team because he wants to be the starting quarterback. You're creating a problem. I know the Steelers are 3-0. I don't know how they're doing it, but I expect the bottom to drop out of that fairly quickly as Russell Wilson continues to stand around, not hold the clipboard, and behave as if he's the starting quarterback on the sidelines, looking at his play calling wristwatch.
And in pads.
Inactive.
Inactive.
Not kidding you. You got to see this happening. I predicted this happening when they were able to get Justin Fields for a 6th-round draft pick. They had already got Russell Wilson, but they didn't know Justin Fields was going to be available. They managed to get him a 6th-round draft pick. The thing they should have did right there was put him available for somebody to trade for so that they could get a pick in the draft.
I think everybody thinks, not everybody, but maybe the Pittsburgh folks, they want the Russell Wilson of 10 years ago. We haven't seen that since, I would say 8, 7, ever since it was with Seattle.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. And Seattle was willing to part with him. When he asked for more money, Pete Carroll did the right thing. Said, really? You want more money? We haven't won anything in I don't know how many years with you, Russell.
Well, they did one Super Bowl with us. 2 trips.
Yeah, but we won a Super Bowl. And we haven't won anything lately. Hate to tell you, but it's all about what have you done for me lately. That's what it is in a performance-based environment. What have you done for me lately? Not what you did 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. What have you done for me lately? And since we have not made it to the NFC Championship in 5 or 6 years, I can't justify paying you. What was that magic number? $50 million.
Well, they seem to be doing just fine without him.
They're going in the same place.
Turned Geno Smith into a.
He became that quarterback that they needed. Yeah. A guy with dog in him.
Can I just say one thing about that, Clay? If you're the New York Jets here, you're seeing 2 quarterbacks right now play. Geno Smith, who's doing well up in Seattle, and look at what Sam Darnold is doing in Minnesota. With Minnesota. 2 guys that were drafted to be franchise quarterbacks of the future for the New York Jets, and they just weren't able to adapt well into that system at the time under Rex. Rex was still the coach at the time there.
Yeah. This is a layup. You're throwing this is a toss-up. This is like you're throwing. I'm in Little League, and you're basically just throwing.
Try to make it easy on you, man.
Listen, you can't put these guys in the first year. This is exactly why I don't want Drake May playing. You pick up so many bad habits that they're hard to lose. Now, thank goodness for these guys, because these guys have made it through that terrible period of being the first-year quarterback, okay, and stayed in the league and managed to come back and resume their quarterbacks. Resume their careers, because there'll be a lot of quarterbacks who can't do that. What they learned to do wrong in their first year is going to haunt them for the rest of their career. Sam Darnold came back. Geno Smith came back, and Geno Smith showed it last year in Seattle. And they really wanted him back because of what he showed. He showed grit. He showed determination. And he was able to get it together. And to me, Seattle looks a lot better with Geno Smith than they have in the last 8 years when they had Russell Wilson. There's really no comparison. They look like a team that could beat you in a lot of different ways and are willing to go there. So don't play them the first year. if you can help it, which leads back to Drake May. So there should be a Bailey Zappi, and I don't know why Elliot Wolf has not gone out and got Bailey Zappi back again. He's still out there. I mean, do your due diligence. Don't be like Miami with Tua Tagovailoa, okay? Tua Tagovailoa, they gave him a big contract, and Bobby Greer did this, the GM, whose father used to be a GM here in Foxborough, for the Patriots. So the kid went to school and learned all of these things, and, well, we're going to discuss that a little bit later. Right now, it's time for us to go to a commercial break, I believe. Yes, it is. It's 9:30. So you guys get a break in between me shouting at you and telling you, all about sports. Let's move on. We have a sponsor here, and we have to take care of our sponsor. Hello. Are you looking to buy or sell a house? Are you looking to rent or lease an apartment or condo? Are you looking for a company to manage your real estate property so that you don't have to? Look no further than Oyama Investments. Whether in Boston or Brookline, the North Shore or the South Shore, Oyama Investments has over 20 years of experience in buying, selling, renting, and leasing real estate, as well as real estate management. Find them online at Oyama. That's OYAMA Investments Limited. OYAMA Investments Limited, or give them a call at 617-221-8881. That is 617-221-8881. There you go. Back to the Celtics and Drake May. Gee whiz. So we don't want him to play. And Sam Darnold, Geno Smith is a good reason why you shouldn't play those guys. But Sam Darnold looks like a totally new quarterback in Minnesota. As a matter of fact, when I get off the mic, I should pick him up in my fantasy football league immediately before he has another great game and he's unavailable. It's
amazing what the Vikings have done with quarterbacks. You remember a couple of years ago, Case Keenum led them to an NFC championship.
I don't remember that. You're kidding me. Case Keenum?
The year the Patriots lost to the Eagles.
Oh.
So if you recall, and the Patriots advanced, obviously, over the Jaguars, and then there was the Eagles and the Saints. The four quarterbacks that at the end, Tom Brady, Blake Bortles, Case Keenum, and Nick Foles.
Saint Nick.
But it just goes to show, a lot of times quarterbacks are drafted, they struggle in their first year or two, and then they're cast aside. They end up as a backup to another team for many years. They don't get their chance to play. I mean, Sam Darnold was probably not going to play this year, and J.J. McCarthy went down with an injury.
It was the luckiest thing that could have happened to both of them.
Exactly right.
J.J. McCarthy didn't need to come out and play his first year either. It would have been horrendous. They'd never make the playoffs. Right now, they're on course to make the playoffs, if not go further.
It's just amazing to see some of these, we'll call them journeymen, these guys that have been in the league for years, who have been, studs in college, drafted as to be the next great thing. They didn't turn out that way, but they're rewriting their careers, and I think it's tremendous to see, and it's going to be very interesting to see down the line how these teams.
It shows determination. It shows determination to stick with this, because all of these guys were millionaires when they came out of when they were drafted. They're drafted in the first round. I think maybe Geno Smith. I don't know if Geno Smith was. I think it was a low draft in the first round, but let's just say he was a first rounder. They come out. They get a fairly large contract. Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson had a contract worth $40 million to come out. As a rookie. But that's a lot of pressure when then it's a lot of pressure to play these guys, and you just can't sit them on the bench and like they're doing Drake May, without the public complaining. Everybody wants production now, but Sam Darnold, it's a different league for all these college players coming out of college. It's like making a leap from high school to college. They don't play them immediately. There's very few freshman quarterbacks that come in and play. Very few. It takes time. You just can't throw them into the college game. That would be ridiculous. Well, it's the same thing going from college to the pros. Very few college quarterbacks can make that adjustment that quick. These guys are just much bigger, much faster, and much stronger than anybody they've ever seen.
I mean, we have a couple right now. I'm trying to think. So you have Caleb Williams from the Bears, who hasn't thrown a touchdown pass yet.
Jaden
Daniels, who looked, I mean, that was a great win against Cincinnati last Monday night.
Right.
C.J. Stroud.
From last year.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, he started off well, and then
these
got
guys
croaked.
are in the 1 to 3 range pick. Trying to think who else. Daniels, Stroud, Richardson. There was another name that I'm blanking on. Oh, I mean, look what happened to poor Bryce Young in Carolina.
Oh yeah. There's a guy who's taking it on the chin hard. But these things will happen.
And Joe Burrow.
Poor Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow should retire. I know he had a great game.
Not before Tua.
Yeah, but that's where I was going to get to because of what happened to Tua. Bobby Greer dropped the ball. There's no way that he should have signed Tua to a contract. They should have paid Tua not to play. Should have said, hey, buddy, we're going to pay off the rest of the contract. Okay, good. You're good to go. We're going to pay off the rest of your contract. But we're not going to re-sign you. We can't. You've had 3, if not 4, documented concussions. I mean, what general manager doing any due diligence signs a guy who's had 3 to 4 documented concussions in the last 2 years? You should be fired. He should be fired. There's no way. I mean, that's not doing your team any justice. I mean, you're supposed to build a team. You can't tell me. And his excuse was that he was taking taekwondo or jujitsu. And because he was taking taekwondo and jujitsu, they thought that he would not be susceptible to concussions. And you have a job? And you're still employed? You must be kidding me. I mean, that's one of the most ridiculous explanations I've ever heard in my life. Sure enough, second game of the season, he goes out and not even gets hit. Runs into a guy who had a heart attack on the field 2 years ago and should not be out there also. The last thing you want is any of these 2 guys, Damar Hamlin or Tua Tagovailoa, out there on the field getting hurt for your organization because they have a prior history. That's brand control. You're thinking about your brand.
Right.
Miami, with Chris Greer, extends this guy and I think it's $150 million guaranteed. They're on the hook for $150 million. This guy should never play again in NFL.
You know, it was very surprising a couple of years ago, obviously, when you heard the news that Andrew Luck was going to retire. But it's really, when you pull back the curtains, it's not that surprising, given his history with concussions and things like that.
His injury history.
So if the news were to break when Tua announced, whether it's midseason, end of the season, next year, whenever that is, that I'm retiring for football, yes, of course, the news is shocking. You know, you don't usually retire when you're been in the league for just a couple of years, just
5 or
really
6
starting.
years at the most, yeah.
So at the age of 26, Andrew Luck was a little older, but still had many years to go. But when you look at it, wouldn't be shocking.
It would have been shocking.
Mike Tomlin said he should retire.
I think he should. I thought they should have retired him. I mean, hey, listen. If I was the GM, I would say, hey, listen, Tua, love you a lot. I'll tell you what, we'll give you a job, front office, doing some things with the team. But I can't put you back on the field. I can't do that because, as you saw, what happened? The guy could have died out there. And this was from him running into another player. This wasn't from another player hitting him. If somebody had to hit Tua Tagovailoa with force, come on. And we all knew it could have happened. We all knew this could have happened. There was no way that the Miami Dolphins should have signed into another contract to put him out there on the field. Tua, it's responsible too for still wanting to get out there. I mean, he should have known better. I mean, what is it, competitiveness? Okay, great. Competitiveness. But if you're the Miami Dolphins, you look at the guy's competitiveness and you say, listen, we love it. We love your competitiveness, but we can't do this. This is not viable for you or for us. You've had too many concussions. You've had too many injuries without even concussions. we have to look at it this way. You going out there could really damage yourself, and it would damage us if we signed you to put you out there. And yet nobody made that determination from Miami. I don't know how they got around it. I don't know how they avoided it. I don't even know how the owner didn't call Chris Greer and say, "What are you doing?" Didn't even question him on this. What are you talking about? We can't put this guy back out there. His contract's up. We got to let it go. But that's what we have. We have a guy out there looking like he might die on the field. Tua Tagovailoa that they had to help off. When he was hit, he went into that rigid position, and we all knew what it was about. That being said, don't play Drake May his first year. I don't have any callers on that one. Anybody want to disagree? Want to say, hey, maybe we should play him? Maybe the Patriots should play him? And if you think they should, give me a viable reason why they should. Let me know why. Tell me why you think they should play Drake May based upon all the computations that we see happening to first-year quarterback Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Tua Tagovailoa, Zach Ryan, and the list goes on. And Trevor Lawrence. They stuck him out there the first year. Just never been able to, all world. One of the fastest, brightest, intelligent, well-rounded thrower. Could do this, could do everything. Get out there in the NFL game, found himself in a quagmire that he has never swam out of, never got out of. He's still stuck in there. It might be better for him to go to another team and start all over. But here was a guy, top of the list, should have made it in the NFL, but due to circumstances of playing him in his first year, injuries, did it occur to him in his first year, compensating for those, developed bad habits first year, doesn't see the field as well as he should, and makes mistakes. So there we go.
Hey, Mac Jones, backup quarterback down there in Jacksonville.
If they ever get a chance and Mac Jones plays, he might, and then they sit Trevor Lawrence down. We'll see what happens. But
well, if they sit Trevor Lawrence down, that Doug Peterson's gone, and that the owner of the Jaguars said this was the best team they've ever assembled down there in Jacksonville.
No, so we see the writing on the wall. He's not willing to admit it's not. Trevor Lawrence has not made that leap, and I lack of a better thing, I always attribute it to the fact that these guys get put in the first year. Look great in college, all world, all Mr. Fantastic in college. You're just going to start them right in the first game with the pros, like they did Caleb Williams. Okay, you get some exciting stuff. There's going to be some exciting things, but you're damaging the guy for the future. So let's move on from that. I like to talk about my beloved Red Sox, and I know me and you, Kevin, had it out, and I don't hold that against you.
Likewise.
But with Trevor Story coming back, Marquise Grissom, and Tristan and Cassis, they had a squad. They had a squad, buddy. Yeah, they just got them some pitching.
We can talk about this all day, but listen, the Red Sox are going to finish the year where many people thought they were going to with the roster that was assembled, right at 500. They're at 80 wins right now and 80 losses with 2 games to be played.
Mm-hmm.
This was a team that was 11 games over 500 when they went to the All-Star break.
At the All-Star break.
They have played 10 games under 500 the rest of the way. 53-42 at the All-Star break. They went into the second half, 27 wins and 37 losses. Now, Clay thinks that the Red Sox would have been a better team had they acquired more starting pitching.
At the trade deadline.
At the deadline, you can make
by
that
the All-Star game.
You can make that argument.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Get a quality starter, pay some money, and give up some prospects because you got Marquise Grissom coming back. You got Trevor Story, Tristan Casas. You have a boat coming back. All you need is some pitching to carry you over.
Anyway, I'm not going to go into that because it's just we both have our opinions, and that's fine. I don't believe that this was the team to invest in for a rental starting pitcher for them to get bounced in a wild card round just to say, hey, we made the playoffs. I just don't believe trading away some of that talent for a rental guy he'll help you a couple of months. No guarantee he'll get you in the playoffs, because if you look at the wild card, if you're telling me 2 months ago in August or in late July that the Detroit Tigers were going to be not just in the wild card, but the second wild card, I would have called you crazy.
That's right.
This was a team that played under 500 all year. They have a lot of young talent, no doubt there. They traded their number 2 starter, a gentleman with the name of Jack Flaherty, who's now pitching with the Dodgers. This was a team that was on the bubble, but nobody ever took seriously. A team that has been rebuilding now for the past decade, has not made the playoffs since 2014.
Wow.
And this was a team that back in the day with Miguel Cabrera at his prime and with Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, Jim Leland as the manager, was a really solid team. Went to the World Series in 2012 and gave the Red Sox a run for their money in the ALCS in 2013. However, what the Detroit Tigers were able to do was nothing short of, I don't want to say a miracle, but I would say impressive. And it just goes to show you that no matter where you are in the standings, no matter what the date is on the calendar, you don't give up until it's over. And the Tigers, a lot of it went their way. The Twins started to fall. Kansas City's going to make the playoffs, but if the Red Sox were in it, what? You're looking
Kevin,
at me like a mental patient.
You're making my point. You don't give up.
Yeah, I'm making my point, but
you're making my point.
Your point, but it's a difference of interpretation,
okay.
in my opinion.
Okay, all right.
I
appreciate that.
A lot of teams. I don't want to say that the Tigers were lucky because they played really good baseball. It happens to be the Twins fell off the face of the earth.
They did.
Kansas City stopped playing well, and the Red Sox stopped playing well. The Red Sox in Seattle fired their manager, and by the way, Seattle Mariners, who are not going to make the playoffs, had a 10-game lead in the AL West throughout most of the first half of the year because Houston did not play so hot. Now Houston again wins the AL West. But anyway, that's another discussion for a later time. Where was I going with this? If the Red Sox had...
You want them to fire Alex Cora.
Well, I do, but
yes,
that's not going to happen. I look at it this way. If the Red Sox had won 3 or 4 more games just throughout the years, looking at some of their losses, they lost a couple to the White Sox, who have just set the record for the most losses in the modern era.
How can you do it?
They lost some games they truly should have won.
Yeah.
I'm not talking a matter of 10 games. This is like 3 or 4 games here. They would be in a discussion right now for the wild card.
For the wild card. And if they had went out and got pitching, they would be there right now. And that's my contention way back then.
Maybe.
I know I'm old. Kevin. I know it's my gray hair. If I wasn't bald, you would see. They would add to my experience. It lends me the credibility to say these things that you young people don't really recognize. Every given opportunity, you never give up, because it's what Tom Brady taught New England, or Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick put him in position, but it's what Tom Brady showed us. You fight to the end. You never give up. There's always a chance, and they're gonna have to pry from your cold, dead fingers, unmoving fingers, before you would give up the fight. And I just felt like the Red Sox just gave up. I mean, not the Red Sox, the team, the management dumped on him and didn't give him a chance.
The All-Star break couldn't have come at a worse time. When you're hot, like the Red Sox were, and then you take 5 days off because of the All-Star break, that as I said, I remember saying this and watching this. This could not have come at the worst time for the Red Sox.
Oh, they were on fire. They were like chili sauce.
And then I knew things were going down when they started the second half. They got swept by the Dodgers, which, I mean,
straight.
It was a tough series. But then they went out to Colorado. The Colorado Rockies are the 3rd worst team in the league right now. And they dropped 2 out of 3 to Colorado. And they, in the 3rd game of that series, and I can only imagine what the plane ride home was like coming back to face the Yankees, they let up 17 runs. At that moment, I said, as much
pitching.
Colorado's a tough place to pitch.
Pitching.
But regardless, I don't know if one starter, Clay, if you can give me a name and tell me someone who you think would have been this rotation boost. They had a full rotation.
I can't give you a name. I just thought because I'm not the GM. I thought the GM should have went out there. I mean,
Breslow brought in 2 relievers that stunk.
And that's what I'm talking about.
That didn't do absolutely anything.
I mean, I love Rich Hill. And you love Rich Hill. We all love Rich Hill.
I'm not talking about Rich Hill. I'm talking about two other guys.
Well, but yeah. And what I'm saying is that he didn't do any legwork at all. He didn't try. He just brought in something to satisfy guys who said, "Listen, you got to do something. You got to do something. The team is on the precipice." And that's what he did. He went out and got the easiest things he could find without trying to do too much or trying to pick up the pace, trying to pick up the level of performance, trying to pick up the athleticism, trying to pick up the level of the bullpen. He didn't try to do any of that. He just brought two pitches that he could get easy without giving up anything.
Yeah,
and that was that.
I don't disagree with you, Clay, about need for pitching. I disagree with the timing of it. If you want to address pitching, I say do it in the offseason. I don't believe this team, as it stood right now, was worth investing in on getting rid of some of the young talent. I don't believe that, and this is very different. You talked to me 5-6 years ago, I'd be in your exact same camp. But it's a different type of team right now and a different type of system, and I don't believe trading a good, solid prospect for a rental pitcher for a couple of months that's no guarantee is going to help you get to a third or second wild card, because there was no way they were going to catch either Baltimore or the Yankees for the division.
So
I just don't think it was worth it.
So, Kevin, you're saying that I become you and you've become me.
I guess so.
Life is strange.
It's a strange world we do live in.
It's a strange world.
And I hope all the best for the Red Sox next year. We're going to be watching them with great anticipation through the offseason to see what they do. It's a good team that has been set up.
They're
but
set up.
It's going to take Craig Breslow to pull the trigger and to make a significant move for this team. And we'll see how much ownership agrees or disagrees or invests. Yeah, exactly right.
Invest in the team.
Yeah.
Invest in the team. Whether they're going to do it or not, whether John Henry is going to put his money where his mouth is. And see, John, I can say this. John is not paying any of my bills, son. None.
But honestly, I mean, just congrats to the Tigers. I mean, this is a team that you got to feel good for. A team that is a lot of young talent, and everybody counted out. You know, AJ Hinch is the manager. Won't get into that. He was involved, of course, with the Astros cheating scandal from a couple of years ago.
Stop it.
But
that's in the past.
Stay away from trash cans. But anyway,
stay away.
It's a tremendous achievement from the Tigers, and we'll see. It's a wide open. Anything can happen in the playoffs.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to belabor my point anymore. But congratulations to Detroit. Anything that happens good to Detroit, I am for. That's a city that has taken it on the chin for a little while. I'm hopefully that Detroit, the Lions, can do something.
Well, it's been a couple of good years. I mean, look at last year what the Lions were able to do.
Yeah, but they should have went to the NFC Championship.
They did. They should have went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, should have went to the Super Bowl. I'm hoping that the Tides can do that. Something that will lift all of my cousins. I have cousins that live in Detroit, and they're all depressed because all they do is lose. So if something can happen good to Detroit, I'm for it. I'm all for it.
Well, especially are they Pistons fans too?
Piston fans, I don't have any sympathy for. Well, I think that stems back from Bill Lambier and Rick Mahorn and John Sally wasn't a bad guy. Dennis Rodman. So that collection of misfits will never. I'll never be able to get the taste out of them out of my mouth.
So we'll see. Playoffs start next week. Clay, we got 2 minutes. I'll turn it over to you, my friend.
In review, I think the Detroit Tigers sums it up. You never give up. You never give up. You keep pushing until you can win. You keep trying to make the adjustments that you have to make in order to win. I don't think the Red Sox should give up. I don't think the New England Patriots should give up on winning with Jacoby Brissett. I don't see a lot of it, but they could run some plays. The offensive coordinator has to do things differently to get Jacoby Brissett out of the pocket. He's not a pocket person. He's got to be a drop back, 1, 2, 3, get it out of his hand. 1, 2, 3, get it out of his hand. If he's not going to do that, you're going to have to roll him out. You're going to have to do draw plays. You're going to have to run screens. You're going to have to do different things in order to get the ball away from Jacoby Brissett. He's not a great guy going from person to person. So he doesn't read as fast as he could. Let's just put it that way. That being said, don't ever give up trying to win. Don't give up. I think the Patriots are in a fairly good position. They're going to get a high draft pick next year. That seems to be fairly obvious the way they're going. And that with Drake May coming out in the second year should do the trick as long as they get Bailey Zappi in this year before Jacoby Brissett goes down, okay, to save him. And they have to do something with the Joe Milton situation. having another stud standing over your shoulder the same way Jimmy Garoppolo was standing over Tom Brady's shoulder, it's not where you want your top quarterback to be. You have to make a decision. Don't have him hanging around like Russell Wilson is, okay? It's not a good thing. And with that, I say good night, everybody. Good day, good day. Have a good day. Good afternoon. Bon voyage if you're going on the trip, and all those other good things. Goodbye.